Here live on HBCU Gameday, this is welcome to the Teddy Keaton Show here on HBCU Gameday. I am Sylvester Williams. They call me Sly, the sports guy, and I'm joined by the one and only Coach Teddy Keaton.
How you doing, brother?
I'm trying to find my paper bag. Put my paper bag over my head.
Why you would do that? Why would you do such a thing?
Oh, I don't know, Coach. Coach, we took a tough one, Coach.
It's just part of coaching the game, part of playing the game. It's a loss, Unfortunately, we play the game to win. We took a loss. I tell you all the time, we don't take loss, we make lessons. So this is a lesson for us. Sometimes it's good to get you behind Spank, so it helps the team refocus and get back to where they need to be. Sometimes I think you get drunk off success, and a lot of players, a lot of people think, oh, I could just go out and, sometimes not do things the correct way and think that, oh, it's just this team that shows up. And they got a lesson this weekend, so we'll see what they learn from this lesson.
Well, we'll see what they learn. Well, we're going to jump straight into this thing. Started off, the Clark Atlanta Panthers went down took that trip down I-20 to Columbia, South Carolina to go and play Allen University Yellow Jackets. Played the home game at Fairfield Central High School in Winsboro, home of the Griffins. Good football down there in Winsboro also. Good football down there. But Allen won the toss, and they elected to defer. Sellers returned it to the 23-yard line. Sellers, the young freshman, he's getting a lot of returns, getting a lot of action on that kickoff return team. Well, you'll start off, Riggins will get things going with a 6-yard run. Then McDonald hits Harris for a 13-yard gain. Then an incomplete pass, then a short pass, and a scramble will lead to 4th and 3. Ball on the 50-yard line, and you go for it, and it's an incomplete pass, Coach, incomplete pass. Decided to kind of roll the dice a little early.
Well, I thought there was an opportunity for us. We was in sync a little bit, and I think that when Coach Cunningham looked at me and said, let's go for it, we wanted to keep the offense in sync. We needed to get the ball. We wanted to try to score in our opening possession, and it was just a roll of the dice, and, it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. Now, Allen will get it, and Allen they will waste no time. It's a 3-play, 49-yard drive, capped off with a 42-yard TD run by Fabian Duncan. Scores 7-0 Allen. Now you get it back. You start on the 29. It's 3 rushes by Higgins. That'll put you at 4th and 1 on the 38. You're a riverboat gambler like I like, Coach. So you said you'll go for it on 4th and 1, and then Darren Stevens comes up big for you. McDonald hits him with a 40-yard pass, and now McDonald, he'll complete another long pass to Harris, and the Panthers will have it 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. McDonald will roll out. He'll scrambles to his left, lowers his shoulder, puts it on in the end zone, and scores the touchdown off a hard run. But that was a tough run at the end. You can see he took the contact right there on his shoulder, Coach. What happened?
He decided to come. He pulled the ball and ran down, and the guy, he kind of stuck him real good right there on that goal line. And it is a part of the game, big hits. We still waiting on, what's happening with him and get his x-rays and make sure everything's good with him. If not, we know what we got to do.
All right, sending out our healing prayers to Xavier McDonald. It was a tough run, but, hey, this is football. Sometimes contact happens in football. It's a contact sport. Well, Allen will get it, and they'll start the drive on the 41 after a great return. Dismukes, he'll run for 13 yards, but then the Panther defense clamps down, forces a 3 and out, then they have to punt. Now, you bring out a new quarterback. you decided to go with the true freshman out of Tampa, Florida, Xavier Jackson. Now, why did you decide to go with Xavier Jackson, Coach?
Well, Xavier is our future. That's what we had him marked as. We did not want to have to do him, but Zai was still in the medical tent getting looked at. We wanted to make sure that we looked at all our options. And first we went with the backup quarterback that been here through the spring, Brown, and Brown has been taking snaps there. But we just felt that it was time to take my guy off the shelf, and we took him off the shelf, and he went to work.
Well, you helped them out on the first play. The first play, you handed it off to Riggins. Riggins had a short game. And then the second play, kind of wanted to throw him out there. He got a little bit of happy feet, but then the line didn't hold up the way you wanted it to hold up. He ended up getting sacked on that one. So the next play, you'll have 2 false starts in a row. The offensive line's been solid all year, but then they had 2 false starts, and then that'll back it up even further.
That's what happens when you change quarterbacks. They're different cadence, they're different voice, that tone. So when a quarterback comes in and it's a new quarterback, you got to get used to his sounds, what he brings to the table, all that stuff there. So I think that came off of just the pure switch of quarterback sounds.
Well, you hand it off to Riggins one time, and he'll pick up a 9-yard gain, but now it's 4th and 12, so you decide to punt it away. Now, Allen will have it 1st and 10 on the 46. The defense will step up big. Big Jaden Cleveland gets his big paws on the ball, knocks the ball up in the air, and then the athletic Cameron Williams dives in and gets an interception. Cam stretches out for one, Coach. He stretched out for it to get an interception. What can you say about that combo of Jaden and Cam making things happen?
Jaden's a sophomore. Cam is a junior, and those 2 guys are playing good football right now. And I think they're trying their best to be who they are, and they're trying to help and lead this team. It's a young defense, young offense. There's a lot of young players playing out there, and I think those 2 guys are the leaders that they look up to. And I think 11 did his job, and he got, Jaden got his hands up, 11 got his hands on the ball and made a play.
There you go, big plays by Jaden Cleveland and Cam Williams. Now, Clark will have it 1st and 10 at the 49. You made a change at quarterback again. This time you bring in Kai Brown, the sophomore, and he'll have it at 1st and 10 at the 49. The first play, he pulls it down, he runs, gets 18 yards. Then you give it to Riggins. Riggins will get a carry. Then Brown, he'll scramble for 4 more yards. Now Riggins runs one more time, and then an incomplete pass will bring up 3rd and 6. It's 3rd and 6 at the 15. Brown takes a 6-yard sack. Now Lopez comes out, your freshman kicker. He'll come out and he nails a 39-yard field goal. So that'll put you up 10-7. Relying a lot on that freshman kicker. I think he's building up some confidence, Coach.
Again, he's doing a really good job. He's a true freshman, another guy straight out of high school that came in to help us do what we do. And I think they're doing a great job. But like I said, there's a lot of things that he brings to the table. I like his kickoffs. I like his punts. He's done some really good things with the football. So he's reliable. So when we want to go out there, we put him out there.
All right, so now you'll give it back to Allen on the kickoff return. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 36. And on this drive, Coach, oh my goodness, it was a whole lot of Fabian Duncan. It was an 8-play, 64-yard run. It was Fabian Duncan to the left, Fabian Duncan in the middle, Fabian Duncan on the right. 8 plays, 8 touches, 64 yards. Fabian Duncan scores touchdown. Allen now 14-10. This Duncan kid, that's a grown man.
Well,
I don't call him a kid.
And I say it all the time, the key to keeping us, I guess, to keep us where we at is keep that offense off the field. So you give to your best. That Duncan kid is really good. Shout outs to him. Fabian ran the ball really hard. Guy out of North Carolina, just really good job of running the football. I thought they blocked it well. They did a lot of good things of creating extra gaps for you. So when you got a young defense, making it harder for those guys to line up, it was just a lot of things that they did well. Coach Pearl, shout out to him. He's a seasoned football coach. He's been doing it a long time. Coach Ruffin tell me all the time the P is for power in Coach Pearl's name because he want to run power, and he did that on that drive there 8 times. all night. I'm going to see if you can stop it.
That's it. A whole lot of Fabian Duncan. All right, now Clark will get it back. First and 36. First and 10 on the 36-yard line, and Brown will start off at your quarterback. Now, on second down, you kind of get helped out by a 15-yard face mask, but then the offense kind of fizzles out, and you have to punt it away. Now, once you punt it away, Allen will have it first and 10 on the 15, and then Carter and Way, they'll come up with the big sack, and then Duncan, he'll run for 10 more yards. It'll be 3rd and 8. Dismukes on 3rd and 8. He either caught a DB cheating or he caught a DB sleeping, and he threw an 83-yard touchdown pass to put Allen up 21-10, Coach. Now, I guess when you keep running, them DBs start to creep up a little bit.
Well, it's just like I said, you got a +1 to the box. They were creating extra gaps by formations, condensing the formations down where your DBs now have to become a part of tackling. So now it's not a phase. So you get your best receivers and in different situations. If you make a misalignment by one reason or you end up with a mismatch coverage, then you got a problem now. So, I thought, like I say, shout out to Coach Pearl and his crew. They did a really good job of, masterminding what they did. And then it turned out to be a great play. It was all designed. Duncan gave us enough dunking. So we was trying to figure out how to stop Duncan. And then, the quarterback turns around and he makes a play for him with his receiver.
All right. Now Clark will get it back. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. Now Brown's still in at quarterback. He'll have an incomplete pass, and then he's sacked 2 times in a row. Clark Atlanta forced the punt. Now, Coach, your offensive line in the season doing a great job. They only gave up 1 sack through the first 3 games. Only gave up 1 sack, and now in this game, we're midway through the second period, and they've given up 5. What's going on with the offensive line?
It was 3 freshmen playing now. We had 3 of our guys that got hurt. They were out resting out. They had to sit out. Some things were going on with them, and hopefully we can get them back healthy, get them back on the field. When you got 3 O-linemen that's freshmen out there, and your only strong point there is the center. The center's trying to help them get on the right page and do what they do. So, those guys, shout out to them. They did a good job. They worked. They just, when they're young like that, they're going to make mistakes.
All right. Now, Allen will get it. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. The defense holds to a 4th and 1. Defense does a great job of holding, but then they'll hand it off to Fabian Duncan. He'll pick up 5 yards. But hold up. Holding penalty. We're going to bring that thing back. And now on 4th and 6 this time, Allen tries to throw a pass, and then the freshman, talking about freshman, Mitchum jumps on it and breaks it up, and now you have a turnover on down. Now, 1st and 10, Clark will have it at the 44-yard line. You bring Jackson back in. Jackson back in the game, and on 2nd and 15, he manages to complete his first pass, his first collegiate pass, so he got the monkey off his back.
That's right.
Now he's ready to go. Then he'll throw, his first pass was a 15-yard completion to Ronnie West. Then he'll complete 2 more. Then he hits David Martin for a 17-yard TD pass, his first touchdown pass. Xavier Jackson, he'll throw a 17-yard touchdown pass to David Martin, the first of many for that young man.
I think that, Xavier, again, he's a great talent, great out of Tampa, Florida. Mom ran track at Notre Dame. Dad played football at Notre Dame. He's a very high IQ kid. He's going to do a really good job of executing our offense and doing what he does.
All right. Now, scores now 17-21, 17-21. Allen in front. Allen, they'll start on the 25-yard line. We'll get a kick in the end zone, touchback. Then they will gain 11 yards on a Dismukes run. Then they'll tack on an extra 15 yards with a personal foul. And then Duncan gets a couple of carries. And then Dismukes, he'll find Floyd for a 23-yard touchdown pass. That'll put Allen up 28-17. Now, Clark will have it 1st and 10 on the 36 with 21 seconds left, Coach. You know that Allen will be getting the ball back in the second half, to start the second half. So you want to try to force it down the field as quick as you can. And you start off hot. You throw a 30-yard pass to another freshman, Creshawn Sellers, freshman to freshman connection. And then that's when it gets kind of a little bit confusing. You have it on the 34-yard line, 1st and 10, still have a few timeouts left, or still have one timeout left, but end up getting some confusion with that freshman quarterback in there, Coach.
Well, there's a lot of situations that go on in the game that he's coming back and he's actually playing in that third place position right now. So when you put him in that third place position, he don't get to be a part of 2-minute drill, those different things that he's mostly watching that. So there's a lot of things that he had to learn and come up to speed with. And, there's only so many plays in your playbook that you could call for him because he has not been exposed to every aspect of the playbook yet. Mm-hmm. So I think that Xavier did a good job and, coaches did a good job of trying to manage it and try not to give him nothing that would cause him to be out of whack. So we kind of, was going back and forth a little bit about what we could call in that situation that he could execute, because it's not about how much we know, it's about how much he know and how much he can execute. So we had to think about his limitations to what he hadn't been exposed to. So if that was Zai in that situation, he would have knew exactly what to do, and we'd have just do what we normally do in those 2-minute drill situations.
There you go. Well, we'll go into halftime. You'll go into halftime, score. I'm sorry, what was the score going into halftime? Going into halftime score was Allen 28, Clark 17. And, well, while we go into halftime, I'll let you see my shirt, man. It's been paying off because I know Teddy Keaton. Stuff happened. My wardrobe getting better, man. I'm wearing fancy clothes, man. I got on the new Anthony Lawrence collection, the nice sweater, just because I know Teddy Keaton, man.
I don't know, keep talking bad about my Panthers, we're going to start putting you in some other, other uniforms.
Well, we give a shout out to Anthony Lawrence Collection. If you go and look him up, he's on Instagram, he's on the internet. Anthony does a great job with his clothing. I'm talking about high material clothing, looks really nice, and he is licensed by HBCUs. So not only are you supporting him, you're supporting HBCUs when you go out and you shop the Anthony Lawrence Collection. He is now putting out the Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State. He'll have his collection coming out soon. So make sure you go to Anthony Lawrence, the Anthony Lawrence Collection, buy you some nice looking clothes so you can look sharp like me with the all white on. I'm telling you, man.
There's a whole line there. The Teddy Keaton line is there. Now he's got Deshaun coming out. He also does my girl up in Huntsville, the basketball coach. Thornton. He does Coach Thornton. He does her. Really good quality material. Everything I got. Anything you see us on the sideline with is there. Anthony Lawrence has done it. He does a really good job for it. Shout out to my boy Fob.
I tell you, man, shout out to Anthony Lawrence, man. We appreciate it. Make sure you support him. Make sure you go and check him out and support him. And you'll also support Clark Atlanta. And you can keep this show going. Long as I got free clothes, long as I'm looking good, hey, man, this show will keep on going on. All right. Well, we'll start the second half. Allen will get the ball back, and then the Clark Atlanta defense steps up big on that first possession. And then after some type of mishap or miscue on the punt, and then Clark Atlanta, now they'll have the ball first and 10 at the Allen University 12-yard line.
Right. During that game, I was just happy it wasn't me. It's finally, we kind of had got, made some adjustments, and a lot of people think we're a second-half team, but a lot of times you have to make a lot of adjustments in the second half because people come out with different game plans. And it's when you, again, I'll reiterate, when they're young and they can't adjust themselves, that's where it becomes an issue at, that now you got to adjust them for them. They hadn't played enough ball. And in college, it's not like in high school, you're going to get 2x2, 3x1. In college, they may start out of the 3x1 set and shift to 11 personnel, the 21 personnel, motion back. And those guys got to understand how to check themselves into the right defense and not just stay in what was called. And that plays a big major role. So the same way there, we had kind of got them, they knew how to adjust if they got this, and that. And I think on the punt team, we had so on film, they had started having some issues with their snaps, and it showed up one time, the one time they had to punt. So that kind of helped us out too.
There you go, special teams. It's the third leg of the game. It's just as important as the offense and the defense. Well, Clark Atlanta, they'll have it 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line. Clark doesn't waste any time. They'll hand it off to Allen Riggins. Riggins will get 9 yards, and then your freshman, he'll drop back. He'll look to the left, throws a pass to Amon Harris. Amon Harris will catch his first touchdown pass of the night. Jackson to Harris for a 3-yard touchdown pass to get things going, and now the score, 24-28. 24-28. Jackson to Harris on that touchdown pass. Take a look at your young freshman right here. Line it up, and look at this throw. Look at the throw the young freshman makes. Right to the outside where only his receiver can catch it.
Again, Xavier has all the talents and all the traits to be able to be a good, leading quarterback in this conference, and I think he'll do well in this league all the way around.
All right. Well, now we'll have it, and we'll move on. Score 24-28. 24-28. Allen will have it 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. And now the defense will try to step up one more time. Dismukes, he'll run up the middle, and then Duncan, he'll run for another 7 yards, and Duncan will pick up the first down. But then the defense holds. They force a 4th and 1 at the Clark Atlanta 45. Defense holds, and now you got to turn over on down. So big-time play from the defense. And now Clark Atlanta, they'll take over. They'll take over after the punt. I'm sorry, not turnover on downs. They'll punt it, and they'll get a punt that'll roll to the 7-yard line. So Clark Atlanta will take over on the 7-yard line, and then now we'll try to get that running game working. Riggins will take off for 10 yards. Then Riggins will run again. And then your freshman, he'll throw a pass 41 yards down the field, and he'll hit Ronnie West for a 41-yard gain. And then you'll hand it off to Jalen Samuels, and then Jackson, he'll complete another short pass. And I like how you're mixing up the run and the pass, Coach. You're mixing up the run and the pass really well on this drive, and it'll get you all the way down to 1st and goal, ball on the 8-yard line, and then you'll have an incomplete pass. And now 2nd and goal, ball on the 8-yard line. Xavier Jackson, he'll look, and then a short pass to the left. One more time, it's Amon Harris. Look at this ball thrown perfectly over the shoulder into the corner of the end zone, Coach.
Again, I say it all the time. This guy is a great quarterback. He's a guy that's coming into the game. He's a freshman. We didn't want to pull him off the shelf, and we had to pull him off the shelf, and he came in and executed just like we see him do in practice every day.
And big time play out of the young man, and you couldn't really see it on that play, but the snap was a little bit to the side too, so he showed good hands catching the snap and making the throw. So big time play out of the young freshman to score the touchdown, to throw the ball to Amon Harris. Now we'll move on along. Allen, they'll get it. They'll start at the 30-yard line, and once again, it's a lot of dunking. They're just handing it off to this Duncan kid. Boom, boom, boom. He's moving it. And then he'll take him, basically Duncan will take him all the way down to a 2nd and 1 at the 31-yard line. And then that's when Dismukes will go over the top, and he'll find Caleb Cummins for a 31-yard touchdown. And now the score is 35-31. Allen on top, still in the third quarter, man. This Duncan kid, man, he's doing a lot of running and a lot of leaning on those guys. There's some big guys up front from Allen. There was some big guys from that Allen University squad.
For the past 4 weeks, we've seen nothing but those big boys.
That's all you've seen.
And they've leaned on us, and they lean on us, and they lean on us. And my guys have stood tough in a lot of areas. I have to give my hat off to them. They never quit. They never faltered. They never backed down. They kept just taking it. 22 is a good running back, great running back. Probably one of the best we've seen thus far in this season. Probably could be one of the top backs in this conference.
He definitely is. I think he may be the leading rusher in the nation for HBCUs. I think he may be the leading rusher in the nation right now. But, Clark Atlanta, they'll get it. And So far, your young freshman's having a pretty good game at quarterback. Now, they'll start off this drive. He'll throw it around a couple of times. He'll try to get his freshman buddy, Krishawn Sellers, but that fell incomplete. But then he manages to hit David Martin for a 20-yard gain. And then they'll give it one more time. The quarter will end. We'll start the quarter. It'll be 3rd and 10, the start of the 4th quarter. And then he tries to pass it to Riggins, and Riggins will pick up 7 yards, but not quite enough for the first down. He needed 10. He gave it to Riggins as a dump-off. So now you'll bring on Lopez, and Lopez will try a 48-yard field goal. 48 yards for the youngster. That was
We're just 4 yards out of his range. He got 44 is probably his range. And I asked him, do you think he can make it? He said, Coach, I'll give it all I got. He came up just short of it.
All right, but great effort by the youngster, but it'll come up a little short. But now
we needed the points.
You did need the points.
I mean, we was only down by, I think, 4 at that time.
Yep.
If we could have got that field goal there or got in close enough range to get that field goal, now we're within 1 point. So now that gives us reset the downs. We was in a position where, even if we punted the ball, we could have pinned them back there. But that would play right into their hands because they had the lead. So they was going to give us more Dunkin'.
That's all. That's all.
I started to say, I'm going to get some coffee for that Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, here we have it. We'll move on along now. Allen will have it 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. But now your defense steps up big. They wanted to give you a lot of Dunkin'. They gave it to Dunkin' 3 times in a row. They held them. They held them to 4th and it'll be 4th and 1, and then they'll hand it back off to Dunkin' one more time. And that defensive line stood strong, Coach.
They did.
They stood strong on the 4th and 1. I'm talking about knocked them back.
Did a really good job.
So they held them back, and now Clark will have it 1st and 10 on the 39-yard line. You don't waste any time. Your freshman, he'll start off, he'll complete a deep 33-yard pass to David Martin, and then after that 33-yard pass to David Martin, it's 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. Your freshman will line up one more time, and if you got an All-American, you might as well throw it to him. 6-yard touchdown pass. Look at him rolling out, rolling, and finding your man, Amon Harris, in the back of the end zone, man. I like the patience from that youngster to roll on out and wait for his receiver to get open.
Well, I thought he did. Like I said, again, we see this in practice every day. He does a really good job, has good patience. Can't blame it all on, us and what he do. He's been trained well. He does a really good job. He gets his foot there. He get it down, bam, get it up over 2 defenders. You can't ask for a better play than that.
All right. Well, now Clark Atlanta will have it. The score will be 38-35. Clark Atlanta back in the lead, back on top.
Now, this is where it get interesting right here.
This is where it get interesting.
This is where it gets. It's the top of the 4th quarter.
Top of the 4th quarter.
I've scored just about on every drive there was. He scored on just about every drive there was. And that's where strategy came into play. And you'll see what happens go.
Well, now on this drive right here, they'll start off 1st and 10. 1st and 10, ball on the 16-yard line. And they'll start off with a complete pass for 14 yards. And now after they complete that pass to 14 yards, it's going to be more Dunkin'. You say strategy, Coach, but it don't take a rocket science. Hey, I think Coach Pearl's a great coach. But when you got Dunkin' right there, you don't have to be a great coach to hand it off to that monster.
I mean, when you got a running back that can help grind out a clock, that's when your 4 minutes come into play. All I need to do is get in position to score. And I thought he did a really good job of managing that clock there to make sure he took as much time off that clock to make sure that we are not on that field again, because by now the quarterback had taken stride now. He done drove it down 3 times and scored. It's time to slow this down a little bit. And I'm going to give you a taste of my Dunkin'.
There you go. And that's what he did. Coach Pearl said, I got a horse, and I'm going to ride this horse. So he hands it off to Dunkin' a couple of times, and then once again, if you hand it off to this horse, these DBs will start to creep on up some, and that's what happened. The DBs creeped up a little bit, and then they threw a deep pass across the middle to Marcus Fleming. He caught it for 42 yards, and it's a 1st down, and now you got it 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line, and then you hand it off to Dunkin' a couple of more times. Keep on giving it to Dunkin', and then Dunkin' will push it on the end zone, and then that'll give Allen the lead 42-38. Allen has the lead 42-38, 7.5 minutes to go in the game. So now Clark Atlanta, they'll start at the 30, 1st and 10 at the 30, and then Clark Atlanta goes 3 plays. It'll bring up 4th and 1, 4th and 1. Ball on the 39-yard line. You try to throw the pass, incomplete pass, and it's a turnover on downs. And Allen will get the ball back. 5 minutes, 56 seconds to go.
I'm gonna stop right there.
Stop right there.
Let's talk about that.
That
was probably the game breaker right there.
That needed that fourth one. I needed that fourth down.
I needed that fourth down. Obviously, they thought we was gonna run.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back and you rewind the tape, he put a full out blitz in to make sure that we couldn't run the ball in no gaps, all blitz.
Mm-hmm.
We call a pass and play to get him the ball because that's what his strength is. He did a good job of it, and I think he just didn't let the ball go at the time he did let it go, and it fell incomplete. And we were a little upset about it, and I think that, even some of the coaches questioned what we might have did there in that situation. That could have been a different, outcome, because we've been in this situation on not 1 or 2 or 3 occasions, but that's the second fourth down in this game that we were not able to convert. And I think that one was more huge than anything because it could have put us in a position to keep milking the clock, driving off time, get ourselves in position to score, and put the pressure back on them.
All right, well.
And now we give him the driver's seat.
And speaking of the driver's seat, well, Allen will have it. They'll have it 1st and 10. It's like 5 minutes, 56 seconds to go. Allen will have it, and Allen will just start to drive down the field. They'll drive down the field, a lot of dunking here, dunking there, dunking here, moving it down the field. And then they get you all the way to the 12-yard line. It's 4th and 2. 4th and 2 on the 12-yard line. Coach Pearl plays a little trickery with you. Coach Pearl putting on the coaching hat. He'll send the field goal unit out there. Once he sends the field goal unit out there, you send your defense out. You think he's going to kick the field goal to go up by 7. He sees what you have out there. He'll call timeout, and then he'll send his offense back on the field. You guys hold strong on the pass. Note the defensive backfield did a good job coverage, but quarterback Dismukes rolls out the pocket, picks up. He needed 2 yards. He picked up 3 yards, and he got the first down. Now you got it 1st and goal, and then go ahead, hand it on off to Duncan one more time, and then Dismukes will take it, and Dismukes, he'll run on in the end zone and score the touchdown. That was the one that hurt, Coach. That was the one that hurt.
But it all goes back to that fourth down play. That fourth down play that could not be converted gives them the ball back with another chance to go up to seal the game. And that's something we got to hang our hat on, not as just players, but as coaches too. We got to, we've been in those situations in the last 3 or 4 weeks where we've been in those tight places that we know a play got to be made and executed. But again, we're in a position with our 3rd string quarterback. And this guy, you have to do things that's to his strengths. And, we'll work the kinks out of that, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, and we'll move on from that.
Well, you'll have it. You'll be down by 11, but still some time left on the clock. Maybe miracles do happen, but you'll get it. First play on the drive, quarterback sack, fumbled the ball. Offensive lineman falls on the ball, but then the next 3 plays are incomplete passes, and then after the incomplete pass on 4th down, Allen will take over, and that'll do it. End of the game, 49-38, 49-38. Take a tough one on your homecoming, going back to the place that Teddy Keaton built. And it was a tough one. Some of those kids, you knew a lot of those kids over there. So I guess it kind of has to be a little bittersweet for you. You recruited a lot of those kids over there, but you definitely don't want to lose to them, but, maybe a little bit happy for them. What was that like over there, Coach?
I think the going back was wonderful. On the bittersweet part, you saw 2 programs that were both at one time struggling, and you got to see a well festive game with the
Well,
bands.
you say struggling. One program wasn't existing.
Well, that's true.
They didn't
That's
exist
true.
before you got there.
That's true, and we put a lot. My blueprint is all over it. I think it did well for them to beat me. They wanted to beat me, and they did the job to beat me. My hat goes out to Coach Pearl, his staff, and the work that they put in. I don't discredit none of the work that they've done. They were last year. A lot of those guys were young, and a lot of them were true freshmen. And this year, it paid off dividends for them. That the patience in their offense and their defense. Dispute made mistakes last year that he didn't make this year. I just think they did a really good job, Coach, and I thought it was a real tough game, but I really enjoyed the people. Everybody was welcoming, the police officers, everybody that saw me. People came to the game just to see me and to see, some of the players that played there before. I just think we've created a little bit of a rivalry or a good complementary game that needs to be played every year, where I think you'll get a good ball game as you got Saturday.
I think so, and I think it was a great ball game. Too bad, it didn't end up the way we wanted it to end up. But if you're a fan of football, it was a good ball game. It was a good ball game. And then considering you played that game with a lot of freshmen, Coach, we're gonna talk about stats a little bit later. But I want you to kind of answer this question right here. You had a lot of freshmen who got a lot of playing time in that game, and I don't know if I mentioned it on our show, but maybe on other shows, I talked about the modern landscape of college football now, transfer portal. But then you managed to get you a couple of freshmen who could step up and make plays. So if I'm a high school freshman, if I'm somebody who wants to go to Clark, what do you look for when you're recruiting those 17-year-old high school seniors?
The same way as you look for any player, you want to find out how do they fit in your program. Can they add value now or be able to be ready a little bit in the future? I approach the transfer portal in a manner of that has to be an immediate fix. When you bring a guy from another institution and you bring him in, you don't bring him there to compete. You bring him there to fill a void. Everything else is about building a foundation. At Clark Atlanta, we want to build a culture. And the only way I could build that culture is that I knew that there was a large graduating class that left there last year. It was around 35 people in that class. So you're talking about you needed a foundation for that whole program. In order for us to build that foundation, we needed to get solid players from winning programs that was going to help us, and we needed to take about 20 or 30 transfers that we could find that could add immediate value to the program. So we found those guys that we identified as players that be able to, do some things, but some of them didn't pan out the way we needed them to pan out. They were just as good as some of the freshmen may have been. So some of the freshmen were able to overcome because the lack of recruiting of high school kids is allowing D2s an opportunity to find some kids that'll be great football players on other programs. So we took our approach to making sure we did what we had to do, and a lot of those kids are on our field right now. I think on both sides of the ball, we play them anywhere but 13 to 14 true freshmen, and that's been going on since day one. And those kids are learning how to do, what to do, how to do it, and why it's important for them to do it that way. And as injuries, they haven't been in a college weight room. They haven't had a chance to grow. They haven't been through a spring ball. This is that year one. What most people don't understand is that my first year, I influxed a lot of Allen players and other transfers and JUCOs into Clark Atlanta, which gave them a much needed boost to get us to a point where we could win. Players only want to go where winning is occurring.
Yeah.
So you have to create an environment where you can win faster. So when you win faster, it makes people attractive and want to come to you. So now we were able to recruit people like Xavier Jackson, KJ Smith, these guys, Nick Teeter. These are guys that you haven't even seen yet, but you got also KJ Pope. You got Von Mitchell, Elijah Miller. These are guys that are there that are growing and developing and trying to get to a point to where they play. Rowe, true freshman at left tackle. Right tackle's a true freshman. Right guard's a true freshman. These guys are all getting a lot of quality snaps that they wouldn't get anywhere else, but they're developing themselves so they can be better for the organization. And that's what we're trying to build. So now, next year, you'll be finding players to fit and plug and play to help find and fill in positions that you think you may be hurt. You got a lot of sophomores that played as true freshmen last year that are now starters on those offense and defense that are now taking quality snaps that they need to be able to. You got juniors that were backups to seniors last year that's now taking quality reps, and now you keep building that tradition so you don't fall off so bad.
Okay. So I guess that's a message to you high school seniors out there. If you can play, if you're a big-time player, you might want to look at Clark because you got a coach who will put you out there if you can play. I guess you're not one of them coaches who say no freshman can play for me.
No, that's never going to happen. I don't never doubt a kid. A kid go out there. If you're a senior and you're a freshman, it's not my job to keep your job. It's your job to do your job. And as a freshman, I want you to push him. If it come down to y'all even and both of y'all are playing, then I'm going to probably play the freshman. Because if you've been in a college football field 4 years and you've been developed, there's no way that you shouldn't be further ahead of that kid. So that's how I look at kids. I evaluate them. I put them out there. And yes, you're going to take your lumps with it. At some point in time, it's going, as my old coach used to tell me, it's going to be your turn to be in the barrel. And when it's your turn to be in the barrel, you got to grow and take the wins with the losses. And as I told you, we don't take losses. We make lessons out of. And now these kids are learning how to overcome adversity. They understand that I got to have a straight the way I prepare for the game, how I go about my business to get ready for a game, how I watch film, how I study. So now you're creating this system of a culture of winning, and that's what you want to always do. Every team that take a lot of grad transfer, yes, they may get an influx of wins at that moment, but it hurts them in spring ball. The developmental process don't go because a lot of our programs try to model themselves after the Division I programs, the major Division I programs, knowing that they're going to get a different, they're going to take 30 kids or 40 kids every year from the high school or junior college that's going to be there to help that program grow. But if I bought 45 transfers into my program, that means I will be flipping a program every year. There's no foundation, there's no growth, there's none of the process that you want to do. I'm in love with the process of developing humans. And when we develop our teams and we get them where they got to go, we have a better chance of creating a level of consistency through our programs.
Makes sense, Coach. It makes sense. Well, let's get into some of these stats from the game. We'll start off with the Russian. Riggins, he had 18 carries for 64 yards. You're establishing that running game, Coach, establishing that running game. And that's a lot of carries. I don't know when the last time you had a running back with that many carries, Coach.
I told you we made a conscious decision that we were going to be more balanced, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of doing that. Shout out to Marvin Cunningham. He's doing a good job of doing that work.
All right, and David Martin had 4 receptions for 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Amon Harris, 7 receptions, 78 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ronnie West, 3 receptions for 65 yards. Darren Stevens had 1 for 40. Krishan Sellers had 1 for 30. Now, guy we kind of want to highlight, this young freshman kind of thrown into action. You wasn't kind of expecting him to go, but the young man stepped up. The young man, Xavier Jackson, he was 18 for 23 for 244 yards, had 4 touchdowns, had the Al Bundy special, had 4 touchdowns in a high school game. Well, it was a college game. 4 touchdowns, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not a bad debut for your first time out the gate as a freshman, Coach.
No doubt. My hat goes off to him, and I thought, we see this every day in practice. We knew he was a good quarterback when we got him. I think that we knew he had some things he needed to work on, but I thought he was a good quarterback. I think he's just going to continue to get better, as this season goes along, and hopefully he can be the future for our program.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. When that game's gone, throw it on away. Now we're on to the next one. Play the team from across the street from Allen. Play Benedict. You got Benedict coming up, but Benedict, they will be coming to Atlanta. So now you'll have a home game. Hopefully you can go and get some players rested, and you'll get ready to see Benedict. Benedict currently 3-0. Benedict currently 3-0. They found some offense Thursday night. The first two games they won 10-0, but then they had a little bit of an offensive explosion against Tuskegee on Thursday night. Their quarterback, Ocean, Johnson C. Smith transfer, has stepped up and had a pretty good game on Thursday night. So now we're going to have to deal with a slightly different type of offense than you dealt with last week. Benedict, they will throw the ball. They're not as big a power team as Allen is. So now you're going to have to step up and see what you got against those Benedict Tigers.
I think they're a good football team. I think they got a lot of good players. I think Ocean does another Johnson C. Smith transfer that's coming in, and I think he's catching his footing right now. And there's a lot of guys out there that can play football. I think they're really big up front. I think their defense is tremendous. I think they play really solid defense. They're where they're supposed to be. We're going to have our work cut out for us again. They're 3-0 for a reason. Mm-hmm. And with no offense, you can see that they were able to hold it down and stuff people and do things on offense. The defenses that, we normally wouldn't see. So we just got to, buckle in, and we got to figure out a way to, find a way to win one. So we need this win. We need to get it. We at even. We at 500, 2-2. They at 3-0, so they got a lot they want to keep protecting. And we got an opportunity to be able to play another game.
Well, it should be a good one. It should be a good one. We want to tell all the Clark Atlanta fans, make sure you come and pack CAU Panther Stadium. Pack CAU Sanford Stadium kind of like you packed it on last Thursday. Get another big crowd out there. Make sure everybody has on all your red and black. Have on all your red and black as we make it a hostile environment for the Benedict Tigers. Make it a hostile environment for the Benedict Tigers, Coach. It was a tough one, but we'll be back.
We're always going to stand up. I'm resilient.
There you go.
I tell you, people, adversity is a part of life. Don't let minor setbacks defeat you. There's some things I loved about my team in this last game. It's times they could have quit. Mm-hmm. There's times they would have laid down, but they played with a lot of resilience. They came out of halftime and fought back, got some stops, put us up, even got ahead a couple times. I think there's some things that, this team has that I'm liking about this team.
And, it's funny that you said that, Coach. We don't want to hold you too long. We know you got to get to practice. But you said something that's kind of been a common theme on Sunday during the different podcasts and stuff that I went on. The common theme was that Clark, a few years ago, and historically, Clark would have laid down. That game would have been a lot uglier. That game would have been a 20-point, maybe a 30-point game, because the Clark that has been historically known would have laid down and took a spanking. But you guys fought all the way to the end, just came up a little bit short.
Well, that's what you want. You teach them how. Don't pay attention to the scoreboard. Focus on what you're doing. Dominate your box. Go back out there, play football. Good things may happen for you. And I think a lot of our kids have bought into that philosophy. We don't care what's going on. It's about what we do. It's about how we go about doing it. And no matter what the scoreboard is, no matter how far you down, we're going to always play to start to finish.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Well, it is the Teddy Keaton Show here on HBCU Gameday. I'm Sly Williams. They call me Sly the Sports Guy. And I'm joined by the one and only Coach Teddy Keaton as we get ready for next week here on the Teddy Keaton Show.